Starless one. So I shaved right before I came here.
Like a haircut and shaved it shit.
No, the haircut happened before I even knew I was coming on.
Oh, really?
It actually looked really bad until I got some new products.
What, your hair? Your hair looked bad? Or just like your hairstyle?
Bad, it just laid flat.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I look like Forrest Gump.
I do love you, Jenny.
One day, for no reason in particular, I must have drank me about 12 Dr. Peppers. Shut that door.
They're so noisy out there. Don't they know I'm doing a podcast?
What's a podcast?
I'm losing my mind, Dylan.
Maybe today, with a little luck, we'll find it.
Alright, I'm doing the count. Because I'm by myself. 3, 2. You talking to me? I'm talking to you. And this is Talking to Me, Talking to You. And I got my friend Dylan Roberts. How you doing, man? Nice to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, I have you here by yourself this time, because we're not talking about anybody else but Dylan. This is a Dylan podcast.
That's right. It's all about me.
All Dylan.
We're paying attention to me now.
So since I have you on the couch, see, I did it there. I have some questions. And you should know this because you're obviously on a podcast.
Questions?
Yeah, questions.
Whoa.
Kind of.
I didn't sign up for that.
Statements and questions and,
I'm outta here, man.
And assumptions and stuff like that. Isn't that a song? I think that's a song. Anyway, but no, so I got you here on a real note because you have a new album coming out for your solo project, which you just told me how to pronounce it, but I forget already. Say it.
Amateum.
I was going to say that.
That's Latin for compound eye.
That's cool, and that makes sense with the logo because it's I. So I've been seeing the videos you've been pumping out. I listened to a little bit of the first album back when you dropped it. How long ago was that? It was like 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
2018.
Yeah, so 3 years.
Yeah, it was 3 years in April.
Yeah. I'm horrible at time. But so you dropped that for that long ago. Have you been working on this one since then?
The way I do my solo albums is like I always start the process super early and then I play around with the things that are eventually going to become the main themes for a really long period of time.
Yeah.
And then some random thing smacks me in the face. Usually I get like a new virtual instrument or I come up with one theme that finally locks everything in cohesively, and then just basically over the course of a few months I just pump everything else out. So the same thing happened with this album, happened the first time, where I would spend basically 2 years just brainstorming the album and then about 6 months just churning everything out.
Okay, wow. So that's a pretty like long process. So it starts like kind of spontaneously, and then you just like let it linger out and really like kind of get what you want out of it, like when you start making the songs. Because I mean, you have a you have like, because you're such a wizard of music. I like to say, yo, wizard, Dylan. We always reference, you have synth power. But you have different variants of it. So like, you always will, any moment you could pop out a song, like you just like boom, you could sporadically pop anything out. But with this, like you said, like you like to take your time, and obviously like it comes out as a much bigger sounding orchestrated thing. I kind of touched on that on the first podcast I had you on, with how you like orchestrate your music in Starless.
It's how, like you said, a lot of the times Starless songs will have those intros that are orchestrated and they have those themes. This is if I got to do that, but it's an entire album.
The entire album.
And I'm in charge of everything.
Yeah, and that's cool, man, because like you really do get to see like that specific influence of your guys' whole music, but also like that's kind of like it's more of just like you in general, because like you make up a lot of lore for basically everything you do. Like you could. Like we were talking about like those little video games you made just real quick, but you thought of all this stuff to put in just a small period of time. Like I said, sporadically, just boom, boom, real quick. But when you take your time and do it, it's like this crazy big, like madman, like fantasy galore, you know, crazy, and it's good. It's like very detailed stuff. Like I remember when we were making up stuff, like when we were working together on old projects, and you would just as soon as we had like a good baseline, it's just like, oh yeah, and this is like the past 100 years of this of this entire scape of the story, and then here's the future 100 years as well. And if you guys need any more, just let me know and we'll figure it out. And like you just think of so much behind like the actual what people see, and I think that's super cool because it has all this. It has that feeling of like this big defined thing, like you know where all the pieces are, even though you're making it up as you go. Like you made a language for for this new album. Kane told me that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Dylan made a language," and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck did you just say to me?" Well, Dylan made a language.
It's an
alphabet, right?
Yeah, he
made an alphabet.
It's a seven vowel 2-character phonetic alphabet.
I have no idea what you just said, but sure.
Well, each character represents both a consonant and a vowel.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to what Japanese does.
Okay.
But there are 7 consonant sounds and 3 vowel sounds. Okay. So each consonant goes with all 3 vowel sounds. Mm-hmm. And all 3 vowel sounds have a version with each of the 7 consonants.
Okay, wow. And there's been a few videos that I'm about to show them in just a second. But you put those letterings and words per se into the video, so they obviously say something.
Yeah,
and they have a meaning.
I only have
it blows my mind, dude.
I only have
go that far into it.
I'd say probably a couple hundred words so far.
Because, dude, we make movies, and you know, like, I mean, you make the music for it. I mean, dude, that's just you're one layer to like the 30, 40 layers of this entire process. So I understand like depth of, you know, creation, but like, man, it's nuts that you can storyboard just endlessly, basically. And it's a talent, man. It's an unspoken talent, like, you know, that you just have like, as part of you as a personality. I talked to Ricky about like how he's just like born bred, like made to be like an actor, like to be a sporadic like character of some sort. He used to do voiceovers and all that kind of stuff. I feel like you were the same, but for stories, like for any kind. Like you made one about like you made like a homeless guy lore. I think it was, and like you had this whole giant like spectrum of how he was like a detective or something like that. Was that you, or am I misspoken?
That might be someone else.
It might be someone else, but I could see you doing it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the possibilities are endless. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just one of the things is like I've kind of always been a storyteller.
Yeah,
I like telling them. I like participating in them. If I was to give a shout out to my friends that help encourage that most particularly, it would be my buddies Matt, David, Miles, and Dale, who they're my tabletop gaming friends.
Yeah.
So we're the ones who get together
constantly thinking of that
weekly, and we're telling stories, and one of us is, you know, DMing, but everybody else is getting into character.
Yeah.
And every one of them has intricately designed worlds. Every one of us has, you know, multi-year long campaigns that we've had planned or that we've played through, set in worlds that we designed and stuff.
Wow.
So having a bunch of creative minds like that to bounce off of is very beneficial. And one of the other fun things about that is that I actually just finished running a 1.5 year long campaign in a tabletop system that my friend Dale designed, set in the universe that these albums take place in.
Really? Yep. That's very cool, man. And because of you creating this giant scope of lore behind it, that's possible. Like that's something that people don't really think about when it comes to art, like the depth of like how one piece can actually like turn into this giant like this cone like.
I like this.
This cone
I was a fan of this.
It's like a black hole, man. Like it could just be endless. Like, I guess where do you like find, because you're doing it so often, where do you find inspiration making like how do you choose like which storyline and lore and pathway you want to take that actually like be your project, that like, hey, this is my solo project, this is what I want to do as me?
Well, the cool thing about being a storyteller in that regard is before you actually tell the story that you want to tell, you get to tell a whole bunch of different versions of it to yourself and try to find the one that you think fits the best.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't have the plot for the second solo album finalized until actually about mid-May.
Okay.
So the final plot wasn't completely locked into place until last month, but it was a culmination of the previous game that I'd been running ending, and just thoughts of, well, how is this going to impact the universe as a whole? How are these actions that took place going to change what events might be happening here? And it just kind of all locked into place as like, oh, you know what? That actually gives me the whole album.
Yeah. Okay. And that's what I love about this stuff too, man. Is like when it hits you, it hits, and it hits hard, and like it's hard to ignore most of the time. Like when it's like, oh, that's the thing that's gonna make this work, and that's my favorite part about it. Like honestly, like just being like making art is those moments where like everything fits, and it's crazy. Like it's crazy for me to imagine like the amount of like, because you got to be thinking about this stuff a lot, right? I mean, oh yeah, like constantly. But I don't see you, because me and Raven talked about like the Stanley Kubrick kind of like mile-long stare that creatives get when they're thinking about stuff. I don't really see you get that. Like you don't really like have like a zone out thought process.
When I get that, I am usually staring at my like music production software, and I almost always write music like completely by myself
in silence.
Like, well, not in silence, it's music.
No, I mean like you're silent.
Well, I talk to myself the whole time I'm writing music.
He's making music in silence.
I'll sit there and I'll be like, nah, I don't need that there. But what if I do? That's a nasty boy. And I'll just say stuff like that. Like if I get a sound that's particular, oh, that one was chunky. Let's make it chunkier. I'll just vocalize to myself as a way to kind of add legitimacy to the random phrases that I choose to use for the sounds that I... Because my solo stuff, I use a lot of weird sounds.
Well, I do that too when I'm editing. I'll be like, oh, Will, you a bad motherfucker, ain't you? You know what I'm saying? You gotta talk yourself up, dude, when you're doing good. Yeah. You deserve it sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of hard work. Lot of hard work. I love it. So I'm gonna show these videos. I got two of them. One you did.
Yeah, I did.
And then one Kane did. I'll show the one that you did first. So this one came out first, right?
Yeah, this was the teaser.
And so, like I said, you created this language. Is this any of that in this one? I can't remember.
Yeah,
a little bit of it.
This image right here is some of them, and a couple more of them pop up. Yeah.
Dude, it's some wicked trippy shit too.
Yeah, I kind of cheated.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the podcast.
I used a website that lets you just add glitchy effects to photos.
Pre-effects, basically. And that's cool. I mean, dude, most people use that stuff.
And then the command prompt pops up. You get that little...
Yeah.
That's and like you can't hear it, but there's a little electrical hum in the background there.
Oh, I do. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then it goes away.
So, and is that the green dot like a prelude to the second one? I'm going to
Yes, actually. It's a direct reference to the second video.
One, which, this one
one was made by Claremont Films' very own Caden Lucas.
And so what you said you cheated. So Caden did all this by hand.
I think Caden did this, and it took him forever. And because I cheated, mine took me 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a time saver, man, for sure. But I mean, it's just as good. I mean, ours feels more '90s vintage cartoon, which is awesome. I think.
There's the main symbol of the album again.
Yeah,
It's the symbol of the project. I stole it from a crop circle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all. That's so cool.
This is my voice with a whole bunch of effects.
I was about to say, man, it sounds awesome. You did a really good job, like with the production.
I was really trying to make myself sound like a ancient alien AI.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you say primed, I'm like, Autobots.
Yeah, the way the effects made my voice sound on primed, which is like the primed.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's actually a snippet from the first single that I just released as well. Well, the whole thing.
Oh, the whole
this
thing
whole
is-
video is almost directly taken from the first single that I just released.
That's awesome.
But the first teaser, the one that I made all of the audio just to sync up with the video.
yeah, well, that was probably fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a unique challenge. I'd never tried to make audio sync with video before.
Like,
well, I had with
yeah.
the short films I write for you guys.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's
with the
what-
musical steppings and stuff.
Sometimes that's really fun, just sitting there staring at a video, holding a guitar, like,
Bink. Dude, tell me about it, bro. That's literally all we do, man. Like, we literally will run around with our mic in a Zoom and go, all right, what sounds do we need? Write like a big list down and go, all right, we need grass. Well,
Foley work.
Step.
Or is it Foley work?
Is that what that's called?
I think it's Foley work, yeah.
Maybe, but basically, yeah, we just run around and like, all right, we need this chair, you know, and like, just like, was that good? Like, we'll have a headset on and just run around and catch sounds.
That's why I like when you guys do the bloopers, because you're just like, Dylan, for this one, goofy and funky. And I'm like, da 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 da, and then the random like church organ solo.
You've done a very wide variety of sounds for us. Like, you've done like that. There's a hip hop one, and there's the like a jazzy hip hop.
Yeah,
Those are so fun. We didn't get a picture of you, and we always like were like,
you always Photoshop random things.
yeah. So the first one was like unpictured because
Yeah, photo not found.
Yeah,
and then there was one that was Bigfoot holding a banjo and a synthesizer. Oh man,
with a fedora hat.
I loved it so much.
With
I
the
haven't worn a fedora in like
years.
4 years.
And that's how what we remembered there, the man,
Yeah.
was the fedora.
And then eventually you switch to the me as Palpatine, the Synth Lord.
And me behind you.
Yeah.
And I always go, music by Dylan Roberts. And wait.
Anyway,
I'm all the way back there smoking a cigarette.
no, we should make a Synth Lord short film.
We were going to. That's going to be the end of the next bloopers. We have to do one more short film. We've been very busy with this movie, Moonlight Hour, which we're going to get into this in just a second. But we're very busy with that. But we got one more we got to do, and then we're doing the bloopers. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We got a lot of funny ideas for the bloopers. We got a lot of funny ones. It's going to be
You got to let me act in the next short film you do so that I can be in the bloopers again.
I already know exactly what you're going to do.
One of my favorite parts was when I almost died on the skateboard twice.
Dude, and that's in the bloopers. We got that, dude. That's freaking skateboard.
I almost went sailing.
Dude, oh my god. And that was the only one that you've been in so far.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I mean,
Well,
I had a blast.
made a feature of your face.
A feature of my face.
Yeah.
The sounds that I make is in almost all of them.
Yeah. I think I did maybe one or two by
You
myself.
did the music for the
Beanie.
B&E.
Yeah.
And you did some of the music in the one
1037 I did.
Yeah, you did 1037. I think you did you do the music in the what's the one where you are talking to yourself?
Oh.
Which, by the way, excellent Foley work, I think it's called on that one.
Oh yeah, the sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, none of those sounds.
That
are
was
real.
that was the first one where you guys really leaned into the.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell, it was super professional.
Yeah, no sound. That
I'm
we
over
used
here
was
applauding you like I'm not a part of your production
I know.
team.
Dude, we even dubbed that shit. Like that
I know.
that was
You
me
did.
talking into this mic right here.
I was very impressed.
It's fun to do, man. Creative work is a crazy process, and like a lot. That's what a lot of people don't realize about it all is there's so much like real thought and effort. And I call myself a fucking dumbass all the time, but dude, for real, like you have to have a certain level of intelligence to understand like the amount of fucking crazy shit that
You
we're
gotta
doing.
understand, when you make things of this caliber with people, I know you're pumped. I know you're
Crazy
pumped.
shit, dude.
But you gotta recognize that you yourself, every person involved, is a giant dumbass.
For
You're
sure.
just really good at like a couple things, and you need everybody else who's not a dumbass in the areas that you're a dumbass
To fill in.
to slide their good together to make all the good visible.
It's like a house that's made of a bunch of bricks that are different shapes and sizes,
But they all
the
fit just
cement
right,
works
yeah.
in there, you know. That's stupid, but I love it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, then, man. It's a crazy like deep hole that like there's so many layers to all this
So
stuff.
many layers. Gonna bring this one
That's a
back.
cone. I'm making the cone.
Well,
It's like I'm like wringing out like a
yeah.
rag or something. It doesn't
Welcome
look
back
good.
to ASMR with William
Please.
Hafley and Dylan Roberts.
Please make a meme of me like doing something I shouldn't be doing. With that
I
motion.
found Contouge the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
I watched that too. Yeah.
No, I mean I found the original Contouge meme.
No way.
Yeah, I lost it again though.
Damn. I didn't see that. I would love to see that. It's
I'll
hilarious.
track it down.
It's okay though. But we mentioned that Moonlight Hour. We mentioned that. So you have been working on the music for this. The soundtrack, I should say.
It's easily the most ambitious soundtrack for any of the projects so far.
Yeah, 100%. Well, dude, we're still in production. It's been months.
I get hit up and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And Will and Caden are like, "Hey, Dylan, we need you to create
No, it's okay.
a bunch of fake classic synth pop hits from bands that don't actually exist but sound like they were classic synth pops and feature a different vocalist on each of them." And I'm just like,
You could totally do it, dude. I believe in you. Like, I 100% think you could do it.
"Oh, I'm well into the process."
I bet.
I wasn't gonna just be like, "Nah, forget that." I was like, "This is exactly what I want to do."
Dude, that's what I thought, you know, because I'm like, dude, I mean, this is literally like one of these albums that you just made. It's basically
So-
that, but we themed it. You know
I made a
what
post like asking, "Hey, who all would be interested in doing this?"
Yeah.
And then I got like 10 people off the bat.
a good response, yeah.
And some of them were like, some of them have kept in better touch with me. But I think when I asked Caden, I was like, "How many songs do you need for the final?" And he's like, 3. And I'm like, "I'm putting together a whole album here if this works out."
no, I'd say, let me think. 5 or 6. We need 5 or 6 at least.
Okay.
At least.
Well, you might get a couple with
That's-
me singing.
that's okay, and because we want options. We want options.
I'm definitely gonna do one where
And I'll use pieces.
it's gonna be me and Wally from Starless, and we're gonna be singing in fake British accents to mimic a
Yes.
little bit of like a Eurythmics plus Depeche Mode.
I love it. That's exactly the vibe, dude. And I love it. It's going to be fun, dude, because it's going to mesh so weirdly and make you feel so, like,
We're leaning into the
emotional and weird.
weird
Artsy.
synthwave artsy
Oh, yeah.
80s fetishism that's been resurging lately. I love it so much too.
So good. And I'm glad that we're right in the middle of it, dude, because we kind of just decided. Like, we've seen a few films that were, like,
we're not
really
we're not
inspired
right
by.
in the middle of it either. We're at the end of it.
No, yeah, we are.
Because
getting-
we're starting to bleed into the 90s resurgence right now. All the 90s stuff is coming back.
Hey, that movie that we got written, yeah, that's a 90s resurgence.
Which one? There's 2 more.
The big one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
the
one.
small big one.
The small big one.
It's not time to talk about that yet.
No, yeah, it's not. I dipped the name once.
So did I.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I said it publicly once and nobody knows it.
I don't think anybody knows yet.
I'm super excited for that.
It's not a well-guarded secret though.
It's not. But, it's a real... That's a beautiful movie.
I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be like we're talking like 3, 4, 5 years out. That movie's
Also, I'm not writing the whole soundtrack. We're just gonna get a bunch of people to do that.
We already have songs. We already have quite a few songs for that.
Oh, I know.
We're way ahead of the game on that one.
Oh, I know.
Way ahead, which is good. It's good to be ahead of the game and shit like this. Like, that you made your album. You said it took 6 months when normally you can. We'll send this guy an idea and you'll come back with a 2-minute long scape of music and it'll work perfect in like 30 minutes. 30 minutes. It'll
That's
take 30
the
minutes.
one skill that I pride myself the most in is my ability to compose something that matches the exact emotional feel, the exact emotion that I'm trying to convey into a piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why
Which you've gotten better through, like, just working with us. Like, I've
working with you
watched
guys
it. I've
and my
watched it.
solo projects.
Yes,
because
that's a lot of that.
every one of the songs follows a series of events and describes things happening between characters and places and such. And there's no lyrics. So I tell the story entirely instrumentally. So you have to be able to tell what's going on just from hearing it.
Yeah, and that kind of derives from your favorite band, Dream Theater, right?
Oh, they're fun.
Dude, because they have a lot of... They based the whole album off of that, didn't they?
Yeah, Metropolis Part 2, Octavarium, The Astonishing. Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of concept albums.
That's crazy.
And, like, even these guys, Haken, they write conceptually. And they've got, on their most recent album, Virus, there's a 5-song suite called The Messiah Complex. That's basically just a giant celebration of the rest of their discography, where they come in and do motifs from their other songs in super interesting new ways.
Oh, so they basically recreate their old songs into newer...
Yeah, it's like, imagine they took all of their other work...
Not remixing, but completely redoing
and just, like,
the pieces.
Crunched all of the most iconic bits of it into 5 songs and then made it into its own, like, miniature opera, basically.
Whoa.
It's awesome. I'd heavily suggest it sometime.
See, and that's what's crazy, because me, this is what I love about the difference between me and you, Dylan, is me, I'm a song guy. I'm fucking good song. Like, I like good songs. Like, I have certain songs that I like that, like, I think the longest song I like is Blue Swinger by Yo La Tango. I don't know if you've ever heard that song. It's an indie rock song, or like an old alternative 90s song. I think it was like released in the 2000s though. But that band's from the 90s, and it's like 11, 12 minutes long, but it's just a big like ballad, like rock ballad. But it's still like a song, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got that similar formula that's going on. And even when you change the formula up, I still just like a good, like, kick-ass song, you know what I'm saying? You know, you feel where I'm coming from? But you are the exact opposite, I feel like. You want all these big, authentic, you know, unique pieces to make it feel bigger and more, like I said, authentic.
A well-done concept album or a conceptual piece, start to finish, plays out like an excellent movie or a really good play, but it doesn't mean you can't go through and pick out an individual song and have it stand on its own. You're
right, absolutely, and that's the cool concept about like bands like Dream Theater, because they do have a couple. Like, I have a couple songs that I love from them. So, Panic Attack is one, and then there's another song off of that album. I can't remember the other song. It's similar sounding. It's because I like the style of the song, you know what I mean? But they make so much music that's what's cool about very different bands like that. I guess not different, but very I can't think of the word.
Loosely related to Dream Theater and my solo stuff. A few months back, I used the Cameo app.
I was going to mention that.
I reached out to Jordan Rudess and I sent him the first song from my original solo album, and I said, I would love to hear you improvise over top of some of the themes from this song. And he sent me a reply that featured like almost 3.5 full minutes of him improvising over some themes that I wrote, and he told me that he liked the song. So I felt like that was a great moment of, you know, like, let's take this to the next step.
Yeah. That's definitely like a dream come true for you. I mean, your favorite pianist is playing on top of the song.
Playing the theme, improvising over the themes that I had.
Over the themes that you had. Which, hello, welcome to the new world of technology where you can just ask your favorite people to do the coolest things. It's awesome, though, the experience. Like, did that give you some inspiration to go and make something?
It was actually shortly after that I began the super crunch that finished my second album.
Boom, and just like that, and then I got all these videos, and you got a new language.
Well, I've been working on that language for about 1.5 years now.
Oh my god! Damn.
And the universe has existed in some form for the last 5 or 6 years. It started out with us, me and my buddy Matt getting bored one night, and we were like, let's design a planet. So we designed this podunk post-apocalyptic sci-fi cowboy world. And we called it Tarkon 4. And we were like, you know what? That's fun. And we kind of left it alone for a few years. And then we came back to it and we were like, that's cool. But what about the other worlds? And we started writing for other systems, other planets. We wrote all the way back to the origin of the galaxy. We wrote all the different races that inhabit this galaxy, all the governments. We've got organizations and corporations. We've got the way they interact with each other. We've got all of this stuff that's come to fruition over the last 3 or 4 years, just compiling it and building it with the eventual goal to release it in some form.
Yeah, well, and dude, literally, like I said, man, we make fucking movies, and you blow us out of the water with the concepting and like the depth that it has. Man.
Again, it did take me almost 3 years to make this solo album.
Yeah.
And most of your guys' short films, from conception to release, is around a month.
Most of
at
them.
the most, yeah.
Yeah, at the most. For short ones.
But for the short ones, yeah. But the current one,
we're about 3.5 months in, dude.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months in.
And I'm decently that far into writing the
and that's why
music.
we gave you the heads up, man. We gave you complete like we gave you options and then like let you run.
It's also not my fault because I wrote like 10 instrumentals off the bat and sent them out to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly waiting on them to hear back. Just be like, but there's a lot of promise.
Caden got back to you, right, about what we liked and what we didn't?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was making sure because
Like,
you sent him
a
the
lot
mixes.
of them were like a little bit too like
poppy.
Yeah. Happy.
It's more of like
you guys are looking for more of the outrun, like the kind of just like
we're in
grimy
a car,
dark wave.
Man. We're in a car most of the time. We're driving, baby. You know, it's all on the radio.
Driving, listening to the sweet sounds of the midnight hour.
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it, man. So you've got quite a few. How many you think you're gonna end up making?
I'm gonna give you a conservative 6.
Yeah, that'd be good.
If more come out,
hey, we'll take them.
Yeah,
we'll take them. I'm excited.
We can release the midnight hour director's cut soundtrack.
You know what you should do too is Moonlight Hour, but you said Midnight Hour, and that reminded me of this.
Oh yeah, you know
that was the first name.
I've been bouncing back and forth because that was the first name.
But dude, so the song that we took inspiration from, the first song we sent you, the Billy Idol, right? Is it Billy Idol? Eyes Without a Face. This is a song. You might have seen me share a picture with it. That was the first inspiration. If you go watch the music video from the 80s, and we didn't know this when we thought of the song, but it says the Midnight Hour in the beginning, like as the theme of the thematic.
Caden knew
video.
that.
Probably.
No, we had this almost exact discussion, and Caden's like, I knew that.
Caden, not telling.
I'm looking out for you, K-Dog. I remember that you remember.
That's good. Then
Will forgets that you remember.
That's a cool thing to, use as influence. Look at that Moonlight Hour from the Midnight Hour, which I think that was actually a werewolf movie. I'm pretty sure back in like the 80s.
Who knows? Maybe there's werewolves in this movie.
Dun dun dun. You'll never know. We're so unexpected.
Yeah.
And edgy.
Also, like there could be werewolves in the movie, but it's like a half moon or like a waxing gibbous, so you never see them be werewolves. Everyone could be a werewolf.
Oh wow! I just seen like the worst werewolf movie ever.
What's that?
It was Greyhound Hollow or something like that. I can't remember it. Caden said it once in the podcast. Dude, I'll show you. It's bad. It's a comedy.
Oh,
but it's a real.
Have you seen Velocipaster?
No, I just seen the flyer for it though, and
it's one of those so bad it's good, it's bad, it's good.
Oh, we talk about this a lot.
It loops around like twice.
Oh, Ricky's favorite movie is The Room.
Oh, The Room is a masterpiece. I'm firmly landing on that side.
You're landing on that, and so you didn't think that at first.
Well, I've watched The Room many, many times.
I've watched it,
and while I agree that objectively,
scared, bro. I've seen it 3 times already in the last year and a half.
Objectively, I think The Room is, like terrible.
The worst thing ever.
They shot on digital and film just because.
Why?
Just because
money.
They didn't rent the equipment; they bought it. You know, Tommy Wiseau's got infinite money, just like flowing out of nowhere to buy the equipment and shoot on both.
You think he was a king somewhere?
No, I don't think he was a king.
I think he was a king.
I've got theories on that, but I don't want to get hunted down.
Mafia.
Not even.
No,
Deeper.
You're all right. We won't talk about it no more. Then.
Tommy, I got your back, bro.
I support whatever it is you got going on.
Yeah, you know.
So you think it's a masterpiece?
Well, objectively, I think it was like terrible start to finish in execution, and the final product was horrendous. But the fact that it was so perfectly executed, that there was so much money funneled into this, that it could actually see the light of day. A project of that caliber would ordinarily be canned by any other director, by any other team, but it made it all the way through, saw a theatrical release, and has sustained a cult following.
Holy shit. I mean, you are 100% correct.
I think it's an absolute masterpiece in the sense that it exists as the perfect testament to...
There's only a few films that have done that, too. Like Clerks is one. What's the one where Chainsaw...
Remember, Clerks kind of bleeds into the Jay and Silent Bob area.
Yeah.
So that is an entirely separate thing.
But just that first movie, though.
Yeah,
like
but
that first black and white movie because their coloring was off or something weird like that.
But still, The Room.
Yeah, that's a bad movie though. Like the Clerks is good. That's a good movie. And then but it's like that, like you said, it was able to funnel that money, which is like those projects showed the same, to be able to funnel that enough.
And not just that, it's like the unintentional, all of the weird it's unintentional different. Parallels in that movie. All of the if you see that movie enough times, you notice so many dumb details.
Sex scene.
Yeah, they copy paste the sex scene.
Dude, let's talk about the best acting.
All right,
I'm gonna go ahead and say something good about The Room for the first time on this podcast. The best actor in the entire movie.
Lisa's mom?
No. Was the guy that fucking robbed Danny. Dude, he was the best fucking actor in the whole movie.
My favorite part of the movie is where they just drag him away and start walking downstairs with him. Yeah, and they're like, that's all right, he's going to jail. And it's just like, yeah, the cops just accept anybody you say belongs in jail.
Dude, that movie is wild. I just can't function it the right way. It's one of the movies, dude.
It's one of the movies like the Rocky Horror Picture Show where there's such a cult following, people will get together, watch it in theaters, and make callbacks to the screen and shout things at certain times
because they know the movie.
They know the movie so well. They know every funny detail to point out.
Ricky's gonna start a cult and have it like obsessed with The Room, and he's gonna have everyone going, Lisa.
Ricky, you start a cult. Let me know if you need a number one.
he'll think of the whole concept of how to create the church.
I'll build us our own Scientology.
You're not kidding, dude. You could. I'm fucking scared for my religious beliefs.
Look out, L. Ron.
Oh shit. Well, Dylan, dude, thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Having you on the podcast? Yeah. Thank you for tuning into Talking to Me, Talking to You. My name is William Hafley, and I've had Dylan Roberts here with me. It's been absolutely enlightening. Thank you for showing us a brief glimpse into the chaotic whirlwind that makes up your creative process.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad you managed to piece your thoughts together for over a 3-year period to release another album.
Man, you're way better at talking than I am. Why am I doing this podcast?
I don't know.
And this has been Talking to Me, Talking to You. Have a good one.